Welcome, Niclas, to Metallarium Pages again. It's a pleasure to have you for the second time here on the web. We will speak about the band, this new album, March of the Unheard, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we are starting by asking, so how are you doing? How was the band during the last 3 years? Because your previous album, Date of the Lost, was released in 2022, and now we have this new album.
Yeah, we got this new album. Yeah, correct. And we're starting the tour tomorrow in Oslo. I just came from pre-production rehearsal with the band, and it sounds fucking great. It sounds really good. We're on fire and ready for this tour. And the album has been out since Friday, so it's really, really fresh. And it feels really, really good to finally release this album, March of the Unheard. And so far, so good. People seem to like it.
Oh, okay. So, well, when I saw you for the first time in Mexico, yeah, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, it was in the Candelabro Fest. I remember at that moment that you play a song from this new album. So that's why my curious. When do you decide to start writing songs for this new album? And all the songs are new, or do you rescue any composition that led were out from the days of the lost?
I think the thing is, I started to write this album like 2 months prior to our first show ever at Sweden Rock Festival. And what I did was I made an intro and I made an outro just to stretch the set times because it was an hour and the album is 42 minutes.
Mhm.
I did that. And then we started to tour the album in a touring cycle, and people seemed to catch up on the actual intro for the whole album, for the whole show. So I figure, why don't I write a song out of the inspiration from the intro, which become March of the Unheard. So what you heard in the Candelabrium, that festival in Mexico, was the intro, who later become a song within the album, March of the Unheard.
Oh, nice. Nice. So, and now as you are, I saw that you always working in a new, I saw that you always working in a new songs, new album, because you started this album during the Day of the Lost or during your first presentation, as you mentioned it. So, for you, how do you decide when it's time to work in a new songs and a new album for you? When it's time to and ready for releases for you? When is exactly the time?
Exactly the time, I can't tell you the time because we write all the time music. It's something, I mean, you're noodling around with your guitar all the time, and some melodies pop up or some riff edge or some inspiration for a new song. And I think it's important to be on the move all the time. Wanna be, play guitar, and want to feel inspirational. I think that's important, to never lose that along the way. I think that's healthy and wise in every way, to kind of be always open to new things and try out new things.
Mm, okay. Okay, now, so talking about usually that's a common question. Many bands and musicians see each album as a child. Each one is special in its own way. So it's a bit of cliche to say that each new release it's a band best. But do you consider this second album is your best work to date? And if so, what are the reasons that you make this album as your best work to date?
Of course, I think, yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, that's a good feeling to have, to say that this is the best album ever by the band. But
Mhm.
I think it's a little bit more than that, because we started out with the Days of the Lost and was kind of didn't know in the beginning, very beginning, we didn't know what kind of music we wanted to play, because we like all kinds of music out there, and then we just started to write music. We started with the song Gateways, and that kind of paved the way for us. Gateways feel what I believe in, Shadow Minds. And that was the starting point for us as
Mhm.
Halo Effect and what we wanted to do. And then it became an album, Days of the Lost, which we are immensely proud of.
Mhm.
And then we started touring on the back of that album. And people seem to like that, and we kind of just did go for it. But the difference is that you can see between Days of the Lost and March of the Unheard is like almost hundreds of shows in between. That makes it band a little bit more tighter. We know what the halo effect is, because when we did the first shows, we didn't know it didn't know what the halo effect, the band was new to us, even though we have played together for so many years and decades. So that's important to know, to find an identity within the band, which we found quite fast. And then, as I said, we start touring and did almost 100 shows. And that shows on the recording of March of the Unheard, the album, which we have, I hate to say the word matured, but we have more confidence as the halo effect. So this March of the Unheard is the natural step for us moving forward.
Well, okay, nice. Well, yeah, for me as a reviewer, sorry for this, it is the same because when I hear Days of Loss, you try to do some reminiscence of your old bands, In Flames, Dark Tranquility, a lot of bands that you play. Also, Gardenian, a great band from since the beginning. But now with this new album, I saw that you said one thing that is more confident. There's new sounds involved that you try to evolve. That's completely normal with the sounds that you create in the mid 90s. So, and for this one, how do you feel the reception of your fans to this new album has been so far? What have been the reviews been like? And also, do you usually read reviews or criticism that are uploaded online? And how do you take these reviews? Bad, good reviews, etc.
Uh, the reception for the album and the whole campaign has been wonderful, and people seem to really like the album. And we got some rave reviews, great reviews. And I have to pinch my arm, I didn't see that coming. We just do what we always done. I mean, we started this genre up back in the early 90s, and we didn't know what to expect because we just love to play heavy metal. And as always, you have to take the good with the bad. It's always like that. But as long as you know that you put 100% behind a recording and a writing process, and you feel good about it here and stomach, that's all you can do. Then you know that I put 100% into this, and I did my best, very best. And if it fails, I feel totally confident with knowing that I put 100% behind it.
Okay, nice. So your debut album, Days of Loss, I remember when it was released, received great reviews. After
Yeah.
such a successful debut, do you feel any pressure to surpass what you did on that album with this new second album? Have there been any chances in your songwriting process compared to your debut?
No, I think for me, I can only speak for myself. I didn't have those feelings of what shall we do now? Writer's block or anything like that. Knock on wood, but I didn't have that, or we didn't have that, because we never stopped writing from the first one to the second one. We were on the move all the time. We write in between tours, we recorded, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. We were always up and running with new stuff. And we never kind of left the recording bubble, so to speak.
Oh, okay. So now, one thing is well known that this March on Earth has influence from the past, from Gardenian or your previous band Angel, obviously from In Flames, Tranquility. But into this point that I mentioned, Dark Tranquility In Flames, how do you at the time when you create a composition with great beasts like the Michael and Jesper are in the music industry, especially into death metal. How do you avoid to not receive their influence because they create a personal sound in their bands with the sound that try to create in halo effect? How do you avoid their influence to create new music with the halo effect?
As I said previously, we all been a part of this genre, and we didn't know we formed a new genre when we were playing when we were late teens, early 20s, you know. So
Mhm.
we don't tend to think like that. I got my own sound. It's sound is in the flesh, you know, and Jesper got that too. And we do what we always done. We don't tend to overthink stuff, and you know, we've been a part of this genre for so long. So I think we got our own sound in that, and we can rely on that, which gives us confidence to just do what we like to do and how we like to play. You know,
Mm.
it's
Okay.
I as
Mhm.
well.
Okay. Okay. I understand. Other thing that captured my attention about the I'm trying when I hear a band, I try to be involved with the lyrics, with the cover art, and related with this the cover art for me is a very a very unusual like capture my attention this topic because you create this cover art with Adam Baxter. Now the first and the second novel are created by the same artist, but in general has like the same weight of the first album with the cover art and the second album. So for me, trying to relate the pathway to understand the lyrics or the cover art. So it's possible that the first cover art with the second cover art are related lyrically or artistically.
Yeah, it's made by Adrian Baxter, but the brain behind the lyrics and the cover art and the whole presentation, it's Michael. He's a true artist in that. And in close communication and collaboration with Adrian Baxter and then layout by Niclas Sundin. The thing was to create a cover art which you want to see. You like it immediately, and
Mhm.
you want to create a cover art that you can compare to Iron Maiden somewhere in time, where you can pick up the artwork and listen to the album, watching the cover and just see new things all the time. It's very abstract. It's very like harsh, very and in there in both cover arts is Gothenburg scenery, like small bridges, statues, and stuff like that. So it's still a hymn to Gothenburg from where we come from, you know.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Oh, other thing that I did note into your live presentation, it's that always Jasper is not there in your live presentation. Mostly all no presentations, so we'll know whereas what is not. But if for this new album or for the releases or tours or gigs for this March of the Heart, will be more present Jasper in the future presentation from Halo Effect.
We wish that and we hope for that, but he needs to take care of himself firstly. He needs to feel good about himself firstly.
Mhm.
And we support him in all the way. I mean, it's up to him when he feels strong and feel confident about it. Let's go on stage. Let's have some fun and kick ass on stage. You know?
Okay, okay. So, well, talking about now the promotion of this new album. So, what kind of plans do you have for this new album? Perhaps you will return with a full tour here in Latin America, play gigs in Asia, what else? Australia, or perhaps you already working in a third album from the Halo Effect.
Well, there's a lot of stuff in the can right now. We are planning late 25 as we speak. Actually, we're doing this tour, and then we're heading into the festival season, and then we're gonna do Japan. We're looking at Australia, and we were looking at all these things coming. You know,
Mhm.
so we are planning stuff as we speak. I mean, we're going on the first headline tour ever tomorrow, and we're gonna have Pain, the band, with the mighty Peter Tätgren with us, which is gonna be awesome. Tons of fun. So, and we have some surprises along the way for this year. You're gonna be surprised when you see and hear it. That's for sure.
No? Okay, okay. Okay, now, well, we spoke a little more about this new album, the influence, etc., and all things related with this new album and how it affect career. So now we will focus more on in your personal career because you start your career with Gardenian, a melodic death metal band from the 90s. So now, as you can see, there is a lot of revival. a lot of people trying to bring back old bands from the 90s, because as you can see, Gate of Ishtar returned from the grave. Also, A Blaze My Fire returned from the grave, and other bands are Canor's Quintet also returns from the grave. So now Gardenian is a band that is, for many people, is forgotten. But with this new revival, do you think to bring back Gardenian with new album, live shows, for example?
Wow, that would be tons of fun.
Mhm.
It's that, but I can't see that coming as we speak right now. Would be tons of fun. I have to see if there is an interest from the other guys in the Gardenian at first.
Okay, okay, I understand. And other things related with with your areas composing music, especially because you came from a melodic death metal scene. You create Gardenian, then you were in Angel, and now or Engel, and then you are with Halo Effect. For you, what is the biggest difference that exists in these three bands? Because these three bands play melodic death metal. Sometimes we're a more modern influence since Angel, but then you decide to create always melodic death metal. And for you, one of the composers, what are the biggest difference that exists from Gardenian, Engel, and now this Halo Effect?
I think that when we formed Gardenian back in the mid 90s, we were still kids trying to find a way and how to play compose music, how to find new way to compose music and play guitar. So I think that period with Gardenian for me was very important and very inspirational, because that's where I formed my way of playing, and a little bit writing music in a different way that I haven't done before. So that was very inspirational. And Jim Shell is a fantastic composer and guitar player and singer. And with Engel, it's more into industrial. It's like oop, oop. It's a beat. It's more into Ministry and KMFDM kind of stuff, along with guitar riffage. It's more direct like this, like a machine. And then when it comes to the halo effect, it's a combination of both. You could say Gardenian combined with Engel, but also Passenger and In Flames, of course, because I've been with them for so long. And the fact that we have all played together, and it's a mishmash of inspiration, and that makes it so wonderful to be in the Halo Effect and compose music. And you talk to Jesper and Pete and Daniel and all this. We have our kind of inspiration and our view of things, and talking to Michael about song structure and stuff like that. It's a very healthy communication, and it's an open communication. There's no competition. We just go for it. We just love music and love to play music.
Oh, okay, okay. Now talking about other kind of topics in this interview, Niclas. Well, now as you can see, all bands now has a perfect sound into the productions. You came from the 80s and 90s. Also, I came from the 80s. When I hear and I remember when I hear bands from the 80s, from thrash metal or heavy metal or even the death metal in the 90s, you always denote into the sound that is very well, okay. During this era, the 80s or 90s, you denote something that at that time the production and the studio of the bands has what was its imperfect sound, because there are error, there are many things, and always the bands trying to do something better in the studio, playing fast, or practicing a lot, rehearsal a lot with the band and fun things. But that's what is the essence of the 80s or 90s. Now we have more standardization on the sound. When you hear a new band, whatever band we're talking about, you can see that this band sounds perfect, completely perfect. There's no mistakes, there's no error in the sound, the mastering, etc., etc. Completely digitally and perfect sound. But at the same way, they listen. Well, for me, in some ways, the essence of to be organic lose for this organic or installation or digitalization of the sound. So for you, What's your opinion about now the old releases are around the world has this standardization of the sound, and there's no bad records nowadays. It's impossible to hear any bad record.
I think I think the difference from where I grew up, 80s music and early 90s and all that stuff. It was recorded on tapes, real tapes. And nowadays you have Pro Tools, you have all these programs, which is recorded by in-grid, in BPM, that stuff. But my favorite albums, my favorite bands like King Diamond, Candlemass, Sabotage, The Cult, this DAD and all that, they recorded and rehearsed without the click track. They just did go by feel. And Motorhead, also one of my favorite, Merciful Fate. I can just sit here and just name dropping bands or Soundgarden, all these bands. And then you have the whole death metal boom, which I loved, with Obituary, Morbid Angel, Death, Malevolent Creation, all that stuff. And I like that because you can feel the tempo is going like this a little bit, but that gives you a feeling to it. And that's also with the guitars. I mean, you can take all this stuff like that. Was never been perfect, like sharp perfect. It was a little bit off, but that made the music groove, and that gave music life. Wow, you can feel it, you can touch it. But today's is a little bit different. Everything has to be perfect, and it's good. That is perfect, So that gives the life is gone, maybe the groove is gone, because it needs to be played by a human hand. And if you want to overdo it, you do your best to overdub it, and then it's gonna be like this, if you know what I mean with this.
Okay.
And that's what I feel is music. That's what I feel it's life when it is like that. Not super duper 100% tight. It needs to have some air into it. That's how I feel. What I like personally. That's why I still go to my albums with whatever Creator, King Diamond, Merciful Fate, all that stuff,
Okay.
It's great.
Okay. Now we are close to this interview, Niclas. And for this one of the last questions for this, as you can see, there is a lot of conversations, publications, posting. I don't know, a lot of, especially for the fans, that some fans are very close-minded to use this artificial intelligence in the process of create music, like cover art and more things related. For this one, is in all process in general, a lot of people are pissed off for this kind of topics that a band, especially you can see the topics of pestilence, try to use a cover art, but the fans deny to use that cover art and get angry with pestilence to use that cover art. So that also with DSI, also with Kerry King for the first album, and usually for me the band has the pleasure to use advanced artists, artificial intelligence to do their art better. That's for me it's completely normal. But the fans are very close-minded into this topic. So now, how do you see this from your perspective, and what do you think the future will see used this technology into the music, arts, composing, and more things related with the AI.
If people want to use it, then fine. It's all good with me. I mean, it's up to them. It's their music. It's their art. But I started playing music, creating music because I love to be creative, and I thought it was the best thing in the world since football. I love football, and you are creating something together with your bandmates, and you're doing something. And for me, that's so important to have that feeling of, damn, I want to make a song from scratch. And you play your acoustic song, your acoustic in the living room, and all of a sudden you have this melody going. And then I need to record this, and then you do the chord progression underneath. and then you have a song maybe. Then you want to play it to your friends, and then you want to have feedback and you want to do something with it. And then when you have made a full album, you need a cover art, and then the lyrics, what we want to say as a band or artists is very important, and we want to put that in our own hands, and we want to give that art and that creation to another artist like Adrian Baxter in this case. Please make us, what do you think about these feelings that we are trying to talk about, tell about? And then it takes it to another level, makes it fly. That's the beauty of being creative. And for me, that's the essence why I play music and then play live in front of beautiful supporters. That means the world to me. So AI can't do nothing for me at the moment. I want to be creative, and I want to stay. I want to stay old school. Call it. I love being creative and have the control in my hands what I want to do with my own art, not give it away to AI. I have these thoughts. I just put it into the computer and whoop, here we have it. Nice.
Okay. Okay. And one last question for this interview, Niclas. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of musicians complaining about, especially for the digital platforms, there is not enough retribution as to be a musician because there right now is not selling good records. You don't sell more than 300 like the 90s or 80s or beginnings of 2000 when the records are selling a lot. But now there's no physical stuff decreased a lot in these years for the digital platforms. A lot of people complain Spotify for this one also, and more things. A lot of people thinking like the Behemoth, like Nergal von Behemoth said that there's if you are a musician, you need to have a second plan of your life because with a musician, you will not receive more retribution of your music for this for the massive production release in the world. Cradle Fear's complaining about this one, the decrease. Ex Jax from Exodus complain about the music industry is dead. It's now like it's not like the old days, etc., etc. And for this, you are in the mainstream scene of the melodic death metal stuff around the world. So how do you see this topic now for the future in the music industry? Do you will see that the future will bring back these old ways to collect music or return to the old ways in some way? Because all the time the music is a cyclic time.
I think that, as always, you have to take the bad with the good, the good with the bad, or whatever you call it. I don't like Spotify, iTunes, or all that stuff. I'm old school. I want to go to a record store and buy my vinyl. I wish it was when I was growing up, when you actually held a vinyl in your hand like this. And, wow, this is this album. I want to share it with your friends,
Mhm.
or I mean, you could just pop into a record store and you were just flipping around a bin. We're just watching, and the owner came up to you, hey, what are you into? And I say, I went into Running Wild and Creator and stuff like that. Hey, have you heard this band? And then another dude comes in, yeah, what do you think about this? I read it in this magazine or whatever. That starts a conversation. Then you are communicating with a lot of people in that way, and you are spreading the music by word to word, mouth to mouth. I mean, kind of. But that's old school. I know but that's my wishing. It was like that again. You have to search for it. You have to. I remember Dio releasing a single for the upcoming album like Sacred Heart, and I was a kid. Whoa, Hungry for Heaven! And you saw the video. Wow, it was magical. And me and my friends were making up these stories. Maybe he's living in a castle somewhere and he's chasing the dragon, all this stuff. And then finally the album came out 4 months later. It was Sacred Heart, and you bought it. Me and my 10 friends went down to the record store, bought it. It was magic times. And at the same time, same week with the album was released, they had this advertisement that coming to Gothenburg to play in November. And of course, you go to your mom, hey, I need bucks to buy the ticket. And I got the money and we go see Dio in November. That was the highlight of the year. Then that was magical to me and to us. Okay, I'm a little bit old. I'm a vampire in that sense, but then it's good. I mean, if you have Spotify or iTunes, you can check out bands, and you will find bands and artists that you normally doesn't find out about, which is really really cool. But I miss the old days, and now I've been told a little bit, and I have a feeling that even the CDs are coming back a little bit more, which is wow, which is cool,
Mhm.
you know. So it's still physical to me. I like that. I love that, and the
Mm.
whole communication and the community who's there to spread the word about these favorite bands, and it's almost like a competition. Hey, I found this band first. No, it's me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You did
I remember.
your friends, and you.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Or when you
Yeah,
bring, or when you bring, this band is more brutal than this. No, mine is more brutal than you. And I remember that very
and then
well.
hey, can you record it on a cassette for me?
Yeah, 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 that is true. That is true. That is true.
Yeah,
Well, Niklas, we arrived to the sad moment of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview like me. This last album's a great one. Congratulations on this March of Unheard. It is a pleasure. So again, it's a pleasure to have you for the second time here in Metalerion. And perhaps do you wanna add something to your Latin American fans that expect no, that expect a full tour here because you just arrived to can in Mexico 2 years ago, and no 3 years ago, no more releases there. So perhaps you will do something to that to your Latin American fans and obviously Methalerium followers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That would rule. I would love to come back to South America and to play to all your beautiful supporters.
Mhm.
Uh, of course, enjoying all good food.
Great.
That's great. Yeah, I would love to come back. We all want to come back to Latin America ASAP.